Welcome back, everybody, to the After Hours ERP. Finally, the day has arrived. We've got Sophie back. This is the part two. How's it going, Sophie? You all right?
Yeah, good. Really good, thanks. How's it going with you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Funny enough, I was thinking about wearing my glasses as well, but you beat me to it. You've got yours on.
Feeling
Yeah, no,
extra intellectual today.
exactly. We're gonna deep dive into like these three topics, as we promised in the previous
hmm
one before. So, but before that, how's it going? Thanks for coming on. Like, the reception's been great. There's loads of IFS people and actual, uh, the IFS ecosystem just showed us love, and yeah, literally, yeah. Just, you want to shout out anybody today? I guess, is that something you want to do?
Yeah,
Given
yeah, definitely. I think it's had a really nice response. I've had so many people come up to me actually and say that they've seen it or they've watched it or they've got like nice little snippets out of it. So as long as it's given something to someone as a bit of a nugget of information, then it's successful to me.
No, absolutely. No, I can tell you what, you were talking about this earlier. Of course, I just do this like after hours for myself, but actually, to the heart of it, IFS in particular means a lot to me in my career. And not just that, but just as a subject point, could be pretty much in hours too. Like, it's got a lot riding on it, and I think we're on the cusp of some interesting topics today, and so we're gonna be topical today in our approach. But yeah, just wanted to say that. What have you been up to? Like, the last, it's only been a couple of months, but is there anything? I mean, January is not normally just busy, right? It's just
Well, I don't know. It's quite well. It's been busy at IFS like generally. We've had our sales kickoff mid-January, which was great. So
Mhm.
had our CEO Mark Moffat up on stage giving us kind of our goals and our vision for the next sort of
Okay.
4 or 5 years, what our key focuses are going to be, especially for 2025, and then just sort of delving more into what's up and coming in the product and what's going to be our focus in that area as well. And then obviously it's really nice to get people together globally,
Did I
and
spell that
to
right, by the way? Was it
yeah, or capital O. I usually do big S, little A, capital K, capital O, but I don't think it's
with a K, right?
yeah, yeah. Sales
Like,
kickoff.
okay. Because it could also be sales conference, which is like, but it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd put so capital K, capital O,
Capital
little A.
K,
Yeah,
like this, like KO, kind of.
yeah, exactly that.
That's
Sales kickoff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun. I've seen um some sort of um prize, like this. What was it? What was the I can't remember what it was, but it was an expensive luxury car that
Yeah.
was up for grabs for the
Yeah.
top salesman. Because I remember Ellis telling me about it, and it was just like, yeah, these are the prizes. I mean, let's face it, right? Like, sales is the lifeblood of anything, anything really.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about CRM today as well, but it really is just everything. It, your business won't run. You can't pay your ERP bills, your IFS bills without a thriving business.
Mhm.
But yeah, well, how did you find it? Like, does it energize you, I guess, for the rest of the year, or is it more of like looking back in the previous years? I didn't even expect to talk about this, to be fair, but how was it? How did you find it?
It was good. It was really informative. This is my third sales kickoff now. And each year I think I've settled into it more. I know what to expect.
Hmm.
And I think more than anything for me in my role as pre-sales, it's just really nice to kind of get together with the global pre-sales team as well, like meet my colleagues from all over the globe and discuss with them what we like, what we don't like as much, maybe about the product, what's up and coming. We have an opportunity, we have a full day on Monday to have a full pre-sales day. We hear updates from R&D as to what's coming. We've got a good opportunity to feed back to them there as well.
Mhm.
Then the middle of the week, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is much more sales focused.
Mhm.
So that is kind of like what our main messaging is going to be for the year ahead. And that's kind of where the main motivation comes for the sales guys. And yes, you did allude to the fact that the top salesperson is very well incentivized for the year. So last year, the grand prize was a Porsche.
Mhm.
Although the chap Troy that won that award is, I think, like 6 foot something. So the Porsche arrived, and it turns out that he couldn't actually fit into the vehicle. So he did what any sensible person would, and he changed it for a giant GMC truck. So
Fair
I think
enough.
he's the real winner there as well. Yeah.
Fair enough. Do you know what? Like I said, I can only imagine these. And yeah, I think I'll even have Ellis come on again to just talk a bit more because I know he was in there. Um, but yeah, no, I think definitely it's interesting, and I guess it re-energizes everybody to keep growing. And you guys, like probably get the latest info. To me, the most interesting part is you've been a consultant like for like CRM consultant, and you've also worked in um other parts like projects using IFS,
Mhm.
like the different modules. It's like now, but now you're on the other end, and you're in the know for because you have direct contact with R&D, so
Mhm.
you're in the know with the product. So there's a lot of the reality behind the scenes, like the heart and soul of the company, how it's moving, the moving parts, and then but also how much it's achieving, because it's going from strength to strength, and it's really great to see. I put 12 years of my working life into that product. It's just
Mhm.
good to see. So yeah, keep pushing, guys. Like riding for you to keep pushing the boundaries. But funny enough, today we'll talk about more about the actual products
Yeah.
today. So I'm really excited, and I think our audience is going to get a lot out of this as well. So, and the most prevalent one, I guess, is the AI stuff, right? What are your thoughts on this? The the IFS AI, or just AI in general? Let's kick it off light. Like, how do you think this phenomenon is changing ERP?
Interesting. I think from, an ERP and an IFS perspective, AI is nothing new to us. We've had it embedded in our product for, I think, 20 years or so. Um, so it's just nice to see more of a focus on it and specific use cases coming through.
Mhm.
So within IFS, our main focus is industrial AI.
Mhm.
So we're making sure that it's very much keyed towards the key industries that we focus on. So the use cases that we're developing and that we're using, they're actually meant to help people in the field with their day-to-day role. We've got things such as our Copilot that are available in the latest version of Cloud as well, and the functionality around that keeps getting better and better with each new release. So it uses natural language. You can ask questions, you can build up standard prompts in certain screens as well. There's like a whole host of different things you can do with that.
Mhm.
And then there's some areas of it which, looking to the future, there's going to be the potential to, add purchase order lines from asking a question in Copilot, or bringing back the last or your top 50 customers within your accounts list if you're a sales representative, create activities to go and have phone calls with them and that kind of thing. So it's going to really help facilitate people in their day-to-day jobs and make it so much easier to free up time to do that nice proactive stuff, actually reaching out and speaking to people.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. Is the kind of questions you can ask it. Um, could it train you in like a completely new users in the standard way of doing things, except for a help file? Because that's from my understanding what a copilot actually would do is
Yeah.
it would like guide you if you needed help onto
Not just with the standard IFS help, it could be your own procedures as well. So you can upload those into the data lake and then that's one of the places it'll look for to bring back results. So if you have a standardized process that maybe deviates slightly from the out of the box within IFS, then yeah, it can still bring that back for the users as well.
So this will help in what, standardizing training processes, I guess.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That is going to have an immediate impact, especially as,
Mhm.
say, a company I'm working at, where we're looking to standardize that. But is that gonna be, um, maybe this is too specific a question, but is that gonna be a paid add-on, or is that some features like obviously free and then some are more advanced? Or do you not have
We
an app?
use AI within IFS Cloud. There is its own SKU. There's an AI starter pack.
Hmm.
It's got standard cost associated to it, and you basically pay for that, and it gives you, I think it's 2 million tokens or X number of tokens to kind of see how you go to ease you into it.
Hmm.
And that'll take you sort of for the first 12 months roughly,
Hmm.
or until your tokens run out, at which point you'll then liaise with the AE to work out what sort of level you'd need to be at. You can also then look at the value that it's presented to you over the last year to ensure that you're making an informed decision moving forward, to know sort of what level of AI usage you're having across the business as well.
That's great. So that means that I could, um, yeah, like you said, whet my appetite,
Mm.
and my team, like my
Dip
IT.
your toe in, see how
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
going,
And
encourage people to use it, because
then,
obviously initially there's going to be maybe a slight lag in user adoption, but then
mhm,
as people become more familiar with it, I mean, the Copilot kind of as its own standalone beast. It's very similar to the likes of ChatGPT or the Microsoft Copilot or Gemini that people might be used to using anyway. But the AI starter pack doesn't just give you Copilot; it gives you access to all the AI capabilities within IFS Cloud.
okay. I know that's a major focus for sure,
Mhm.
into IFS's development right now. It's quite. I mean, if we look at the if we just look at the industrial AI page
Mhm.
that we have right now, I've got it open. Yeah, it is interesting. So industrial AI. Hmm.
Artificial intelligence will impact all of our lives and how we work. IFS.ai is industrial AI. It's the thread of intelligence flowing through your business in a world where data is everywhere and informs the lifeblood of your company. The thread that powers decisions made by humans or machines. The thread that revolutionizes your operations, optimizing your people, assets, and service. The thread that enables the world's most progressive organizations to contextualize intelligence, simulate outcomes, automate production, and drive innovation across your business at pace, safely. We're going beyond copilots. We're powering intelligent business. IFS.ai, industrial AI that enables your business to thrive and grow.
That's a fun deal. I mean, I think, like I said, it's probably gonna be bespoke as well. I mean, looking at the roadmap, for different areas,
Mhm.
we can see it. It's literally embedded into a lot of things. It's to me, it's kind of like, because I we're kind of behind still, in my company. We haven't even
Mhm.
got 24 yet, so we're about to leap onto that. But obviously now, just skimming the surface of what's possible, a lot's being built behind the scenes, right? And a lot of,
Yeah.
um for yourself as well, probably learning it and how you're going to present that as a SKU to the customers is going to be an interesting task for you, I think.
I was
Just
literally chatting about this earlier today because within our teams at the moment, how we've typically split out doing the demos, it's into our key functional areas, our key knowledge areas. So even things such as our sustainability hub, the ESG element that we've brought into IFS Cloud, even though that touches so many different areas of the system, it's still kind of displayed or presented individually aside from the rest of the functional areas. And I think maybe internally so far, because AI has been launched, the industrial AI is IFS.ai kind of as its own beast. No one's really kind of taken that individual ownership for it because, again, it touches so many different
Different
areas.
areas, and because you've functionally been
Yeah.
dealing with this area, you're in this area.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've dabbled in the bits that kind of come into my area. So if we talk about CRM, we've got a business opportunity probability score that uses algorithms and machine learning models to use previous business opportunities and certain kind of parameters that you want to judge them on to give a score based on what it thinks the probability of winning would be. So that's kind of considered one of our AI use cases within CRM. So I'm familiar with that one. But conversely, some of the AI use cases may be more within quality or service and maintenance. I'm not as familiar with them just because it's not been my area that I've covered. So yeah, I think internally at the moment, from a pre-sales perspective, we're still trying to work out how do we actually present AI? Are we going to present it in an AI session in its own right, and one person takes ownership for the full suite of use cases? Or actually, we're going to start weaving it into the rest of our stories when we're looking at more of a functional basis. So I think at the moment, we're at the start of the year. So that's kind of going to be maybe one of our main focuses in terms of AI within the team.
Wow. It's a big one.
Mm.
I without putting it too lightly, it's a huge undertaking. Probably not even just for a single person to know.
Yeah.
Like pretty much like IFS, right? It shouldn't fall down to one
No.
person. It's a team effort. But um, what did interest me with what you said earlier was um, that particular suite, like to help you actually get trained into it,
Hmm.
ask it questions, and maybe even use bespoke, like if you have custom fields who doesn't of the crim stuff, it will significantly help you in that sense. So I think it's interesting to have like a generalized how would it help everybody, and then as you said, how is it going to impact individual
Mm.
really focused problems. And yeah, and how does it trickle down? Again, these are not something like I'm expecting you to answer today, but to me it's just thinking out loud, like how does it trickle down to um big businesses with lots and lots of data, which I
Mm.
guess could benefit the most from some of these, like AI, like churning out the data. They're really good at that, aren't they? So whereas how does it trickle down to smaller businesses?
Yeah.
um that would be an interesting part to see. Or will we just you know um speaking from experience, like where does that happen? We're waiting for that, and I guess we haven't really touched upon that yet. We've lightly introduced in 24. I guess Copilot's in 24, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the 25 that's upcoming is just latching a little bit more into that, more specific.
Hmm. If
So
I read through, I've got a little list here of some of the current use cases that we've got, and it kind of just shows
mhm,
the sort of vast array. So the current available use cases as of 24R2. So this is as up to date as it gets. So we have within our CRM panel, so this is talking more CRM related. So the panel within Outlook, we've got contact creation automation. So that will look at the body of the email. It'll look at the contact information, so names that it can get, email addresses, anything else, and it can pre-fill some of that information if you're looking to create or update a contact. Got smart objectives generation. So that is in relation to employee development and training. So that's looking more within HR module. We've then got supplier invoices. So now we're talking more procurement, then we've got sales quotation automation. So already just these top sort of 5 that I've listed off, you can see the vast array of
Mhm.
capabilities and functionality it's looking at. If I look more specifically around Copilot use cases, it's more around Copilot for knowledge search, Copilot for FMECA, for dispatchers, for sales representatives. So that's more the individual users and some specific use cases that we've built around that. So we also have supplier quotation evaluation. Great if you're tendering to multiple suppliers, and
Mhm.
also supplier performance evaluation. So again, a whole array going on over there. So yeah, it's quite um it probably makes sense on one hand to tackle AI as its own thing, but then also because it touches so many different functional areas, it's making sure that we can weave that into the functional area specifically as well and show the benefits of having it in there.
What would you say? How would you drive? How would you how would you think about driving the start of AI as a discussion within a company, do you think?
Hmm. It's quite interesting because often, depending on the industry we're talking to,
Hmm.
it either comes up directly from the prospect or customer,
Hmm.
or they don't want to talk about it at all. They don't want anything to do with it. And it's quite interesting
Polarizing.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was on a prospect call earlier this week, and specifically one of the people called that out. They're like, we want to hear about what you're doing with AI, what your use cases are, what the investment is that's going on in that area. Like really, really wanted to know how it would benefit and give added value to their end user base. And then conversely, I've had conversations with prospects, and if I even utter AI, they start rolling their eyes, and I'm like, okay, I won't touch on it with you guys then.
Mm,
So
mm,
yeah, it just depends on the I see it more within industry or maybe even business size. Typically, the larger the business, the more open they are to it, the more
mm,
exposed they've been to it.
mm, mhm.
Yeah, smaller enterprises maybe a little bit more wary of it.
Mm. But conversely, it depends, I guess, on the leadership because
Yeah,
the smaller the business, it depends. If the business is a recent business, but it's a small one, it's an agile one,
yeah.
they'd want to jump all over it, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you'd think so. Yeah, that's interesting.
It probably also depends, like on an individual basis, how much they've delved into AI that's available to the average consumer.
Mhm.
Obviously, Chat GPT, OpenAI is all free, so you can go and have a go. Um, and I think it probably depends on how much benefit people have been finding with that tool
Mhm.
as to then if they would entertain it in their full work life as well. I've got friends, even one person absolutely loves it and uses it to help her draft like important emails that need to go out to the team. And I have another friend who's like, I don't want anything to do with this. It's over my head.
I've used it to help me prepare for a pub quiz recently. With a bunch of yeah, honestly, I haven't been to one, but it was a Lord of the Rings one. I
Nice.
think I used DeepSeek. But I've, like I said, the first time I've gone into the group and I spammed the chat with just, I kept trying to ask it like, I kept asking the same, like, give me more. Up to the point where I think the eighth one, it's just kept giving me the same. So there
Yeah.
was a limit to the Lord of the Rings pub quiz. Sorry, the pub quiz questions, but
Hmm.
um, I think like you said, a lot of people are used to the Copilot slash chat side of AI, but
Mm,
actually there is a lot of to the like the AI conference we've been to, um, there is a lot there. It's its own rabbit hole.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm interested for IFS to guide me through it in all
Hmm.
honesty, because I guess um, as you know, the ERP vendor for like most companies, like help like relying on it for most of its business functions.
Hmm.
um the token way to get going is a good start. And actually getting people, I mean, do you have a number? Again, I don't want to put you on the spot because I've not like prepped you for these kind of questions. Like coming up to me is like, do you have a number of people that's actually on 24 um and is gonna want to see what's in 25? Do you have a rough number in your mind That would be good.
I don't currently off the top of my head know how many of our customers are on the 24
That would be
versions.
that would be.
Um, I think we have,
But cloud customers though, do you know roughly how
I
many?
want to say about 350, I think we have on cloud.
Is that the UK? Is it or just across the world? I'm putting you on the spot. It is I'm completely this is completely me. I'm so sorry.
It might not
Um,
be 350, I don't know. The
no, but
numbers just come to my head and like it sounds right. It sounds like I've heard that mentioned before. Not sure if that's global or just UK. I'm airing more towards global, maybe.
okay. I mean, again, I don't want to hold you to it because I'm not prepped you. I know you would have nailed these answers if I've prepped you for it before, and there's no way in shape or form defining you as an excellent pre-sales lady. For me, right? For me, it's just interesting because it's still intimate. That's I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. It's like, um, yeah, we're really in the cutting edge here. We're talking like the
Mm,
latest stuff here. Like, personally, we've yet to upgrade to 24,
mhm,
and I can almost preempt it now. Like, if it's the Copilot stuff, and will we need tokens? Me personally, how am I gonna introduce this to my company, the company I'm working for? Is I guess it will have to be from the management perspective. There's some proposals we're doing internally anyway right now to rethink the way we do IFS, but trying to propose that to the execs and also trying to like learn about it as we go is I think is something I'm going to be watching out for. So
mm,
all the things that you've talked about today is definitely going to be some of the things that people have endless appetite for.
mm.
So yeah,
I
that's
think in terms of AI as well, already, I saw a graph actually not that long ago, and it was showing how long AI has been around for. I think it's even since the 60s, if not before there, we've had kind of the first initial iterations of it. But then it's just grown so exponentially that even just in the last 2 years, the amount of new companies that are coming with AI tools or creating their own AI um, features and functions that they can use in their own products, it's just immense, the scale that it's just absolutely exploded with. And that being said, so like obviously we've got a number of use cases at IFS that we've started to develop, and that was kind of our main focus last year with 24 releases and kind of advertising them, showing them off, getting them starting to be used. But even at the sales kickoff this year, it was mentioned that really the next focus from an R&D perspective is going to be all around agentic, I think it was, or agents within AI.
AI agents. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Hmm.
So that's going to be the next big focus. How can we automate the processes using AI again to help with that decision making? Yeah.
Yeah, because there will be a specific to a tasks. Like that's what the agents would be. But again, it's so new,
Yeah.
so sci-fi. It's
So
really
new.
I feel like we're just crossing into sci-fi mode. Um,
But it's happening, it's coming, got to be
yeah,
ready
no,
for it.
absolutely. Like I said, I think it's also something I'd like to just be like. I think we're gonna be fine. Like you guys are. Let's say you guys like IFS is like design the structure of easing customers into it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's gonna be battle tested. As we go forward.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward for um into just looking at IFS content that showcases these use cases
Mhm.
through I don't know their feed, like whenever they do a feed. That would be for me a really interesting to kind of just go, okay, this customer's used X to do this and that.
Mm.
Just spark some life into the existing processes. There's a
Yeah.
lot of fear around it. Um, I think I think that's normal, even for implementations and stuff. We deal with that like on the daily basis, don't we? So yeah, I think you just have to ride the wave with it.
Mhm. It's not going away.
No, and it's you don't want it to. It's great. I mean, I'm a fan of it personally. I think it's gonna help us a lot. I think
Mhm.
um it was funny when just while my one cent into this, when DeepSeek came in, um and like they've done it in a smaller cost than like chat gpt, but then sorry, yeah, OpenAI, yeah. So when they've done that, well, actually OpenAI kicked it off, so obviously they've taken some, like, a lot of that code, um and used it in the DeepSeek, but it's open source.
They've even asked ChatGPT to write the code for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, no, exactly. And actually, it's open sourced, so it's cheapened a lot of people working in the AI space. I'm talking about barriers to entry, but then again, like I said, it's only gonna get more interesting. Again, I'd love to peek into the AI division of IFS right now. What are
Yeah.
they working on? Are they all wearing glasses in a lab coat, and are they like just breaking stuff?
It's funny you say that because we actually call it IFS Labs.
No way. No
All our
way.
revolutionary stuff, yeah. All the
Oh
kind of
wow.
like real, really, really forward future thinking stuff
Mhm.
happens in IFS Labs. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, yeah, use your persuasive powers, Sophie. Try and get them on here. Let's then you can watch as now you can then watch as I then
Yeah.
it'll be better to watch that way instead of being the one to ask the questions.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
guess I
that
can give two examples of historic things we did with IFS Labs that were then brought into core products. So IoT
mhm,
and linking that within so doing not just reactive but preventative maintenance on machinery. So being
sure,
able to identify any anomalies, so
sure.
anomaly detection, or
Mhm,
any maybe additional vibrations that might show something's about to wear out. So you can proactively then
mm,
automate the creation of those preventative work orders. So you're
mm,
reducing your downtime of your machines. That's one
exactly.
example.
Efficiency
And
token
then
right there. Yeah.
yeah, and another one that we did was with, I think it's called dark factories or dark warehouses, where we've got robots going around and doing the picking within warehouses and things.
Oh my God. Is that more efficient than a human being, or
Um,
silly
it
question?
can be, I guess. Humans aren't allowed on the floor at all because the robot will
Are
be
they
in the
like
way.
iRobot style? Like,
Yeah.
man, it's just mad. They're talking, the things we're talking about are mad. They're like science
Yeah.
fiction, but
But
they're
I mean, these are, quite a few years ago now, so I
there was
wouldn't.
one, yeah, there was one that they used for they were in a field, like they're out in the field, like I think
The
it's
VR headset, the Microsoft VR headset. That's another
yeah,
one with our remote assist app.
yeah. No, I was thinking more of how they used it in the energy industry. I think I've seen one. I don't know it's in particular, but it was really impressive.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Well, what are your thoughts, like closing thoughts on the AI stuff? Like, how are you just taking it in strides? Are you excited? Talk
I
to me.
think I'm definitely. I think at the start I was excited, but maybe a little apprehensive,
Mhm.
and I wondered if marketing had got a bit buzzword
I heard this.
happy, and
Yeah.
and they were kind of using a bit of poetic licensing with what would actually be considered AI. But I think on the whole, everything that we're offering under the bracket of AI is only going to make life easier for the teams of people, helping with the decision making, um, helping with process, helping with onboarding, helping with learning and development. So I think that actually it's going to hopefully free up people's time a bit more so that they can work on the things that actually help them grow and develop and then maybe feel more fulfilled in their role.
Hmm. Use it to compliment you. Yeah.
Yeah. Use it to your advantage. Yeah. It's not a hindrance.
No.
Just takes a little bit of learning initially, but then when you get the hang of it, it's makes life much easier. As with anything, anything new that you're learning.
I would love to send it out there that if it had the support of the CEO and the HR, you think about how it's going to change the roles, or at least the roles and responsibilities, not exactly just the titles itself,
Mm.
but um, being like, being encouraged to learn that. Well, not well. Obviously, step one is to become good in your IFS system, which is, I think, enough of a challenge as it is. But I think AI is just another one in the mix where it could definitely help you out. So it'll complement each other. Honestly, like I said, I this will be an ongoing curiosity. Um, how do we get, um, the current challenge we're facing right now is, um, managing our updates, and getting to the 24. I guess when 24 just got released, not everybody's gonna rush to the latest version. But now that actually, 25 is coming in March, then actually you can go to 24R2 now. It's
Yeah.
probably been battle tested. It's been dispatches now, to go up to it. So
Even
uh,
so, any bug fixes or service updates are monthly. So even like the first month after the release, if there is anything, it'll be, fixed continually as needed as things are noticed. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, highly encourage that. It's Yeah, like I said, like internally right now, it's more difficult when you're significantly behind. There's lots of things to fix. Little, I'm not even saying like it might even just be the custom stuff that's breaking, like, which a lot of companies do custom stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Downside is it might conflict with an update.
We've got the impact assessment though, so it should highlight if there are any potential conflicts. So anywhere where there is a new functional update that's coming, it'll highlight if you have any changes, configurations in that area so that you can do your unit testing on that area to make sure it'll still work in the build place before you then push it into the live environment.
Yeah, that is interesting. Is that provided by the partner that you're with, or is it just directly from IFS, that one? Do you know, or are you talking more like an upgrade or an update? Yeah.
So whenever you take the update,
Yeah.
so if from, when you're on cloud, yeah, the impact assessment is within, I think it's within the build place specifically. So it's whoever's managing the build place.
Mhm.
Typically at the moment, customers are managing it themselves, but we are also in the process of building out another offering where we can manage it on your behalf, or the partners also have their own. If you're working directly with a partner, they have their own offerings for that as well.
So they'll give you an impact assessment,
So
and then
so it's whether you want to manage the build place, in which case you would manage the impact assessment, or whether you want IFS to do it for you, or whether you want the partner to do it for you. There's a few different options there.
interesting.
Just
Yes.
depends on your internal kind of IT proficiency, really, and how confident you are.
Sure. No, I think, like I said, right now, obviously, we were doing unit testing on, um, different functional areas.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's layout changes that's
Yeah.
natural in any update, especially cloud layouts
Mm.
change. Especially if you're so behind, like,
Shouldn't
uh,
layout shouldn't matter too much because
no,
the configuration layer
yeah,
it's separate. It's not affecting
no,
any base
no,
code.
sure, it's not gonna stop anything, but of course, it's just little things that slow down the process of the
Yeah.
update. Um, but we do want to get there. Like, seriously, for me, I want to get to testing the AI stuff, like, um, yeah, really soon. Yeah,
Hmm.
um, within a few months, I would say. So
Yeah.
I'm still behind. I wish I had hands on already. I haven't. But it is one of those things. I think it's gonna be easier as you go on, and once, these procedures are, like you said, we become better at actually doing the update. It's gonna get
Hmm.
easier. So you're gonna
It's
get
going to
the
end
full.
up being like updating your iPhone. Every time a new OS update comes through, you just update it. There's a few extra features and functions. You might have a slight layout change, as you say. And I just updated mine, and my whole mail apps changed. And I'm like, what's going on with this priority inbox? I'm not interested. But yeah, it just takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's very intuitive and very quickly. You're kind of up and running as you would be. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to touch upon, a bit about, just our CRM experience.
Mhm.
Just say, is there any sort of and I'll just show the roadmap again, but oh, let's just like talk in general, like maybe a quick 5 minute talk on it. Just looking at the time, we've carried away with AI, like literally. Um, is there any thoughts that you have for why it's good and the things that you might want to happen, like being CRM consultants before you and me?
Mhm.
I'll let you shoot first.
I actually really like the CRM capabilities within IFS Cloud. Like, I really like it. And I think that, we're not going out there saying we're absolute best of breed at CRM. However, I would say that as a CRM system embedded within an ERP, it does absolutely everything that you would need it to as standard and a little bit more. In terms of areas where I'm noticing there's maybe gaps at the moment, it tends to be more where there's a marketing focus. So it's linking into direct email outputs and reporting back on click-through rates, like number of clicks on websites and things like that. We don't have the functionality or the capabilities for that.
Mhm.
However, with IFS Cloud now having 100% coverage with the open APIs, you can integrate so easily to feed that information into IFS to then report on it. And that reporting can either be in one of the standard dashboards or a lobby, or we can create custom lobby elements. Or if you are using advanced analytics, the likes of Power BI, we can embed those directly into lobby elements as well. So then you're not having to go into a separate system to get that information. But generally, for all the lead management, we've got full qualification processes through to activity management. It links directly into Outlook calendars. We've got a CRM panel, so an add-in onto the Outlook as well. So if the sales reps and the team members prefer to work directly in Outlook, they can. They don't necessarily have to be jumping into IFS. The information will pass straight through for them. That being said, as well, if they are wanting to create meetings within Outlook, they can still search through the full contact list within IFS. And again, it's based on access level, so it'll only show you what you have access to see. In terms of the business opportunity management, because it is an ERP, when you're building up the different line items, you can go off into estimating for a new product. We can link off into projects if it's going to be a full, extensive project-based interaction with the customer. It can go into sales quotations and customer orders, or it can go into service. So straight away, you've got that single point of truth, that single point of information, then feeding off into a whole barrage of other areas of the system. But then you also have that linkage the whole way through and you can trace it back up the tree. Obviously, if you end up having a standalone CRM system, there's the potential for mismatch of data. You're going to have to enter all your customer records in twice. Parts and pricing could be different. Or if you've got an integration, again, that's another integration that would need to be managed there with your ERP.
See, it's funny. It's really great. That's an amazing summary. Um, I don't even think I could top that, to be honest with you.
New
Like,
day in, day out.
I mean, like I said, I don't even think I could top that. But what I will say is, definitely, I think it also highlights, um, you know, it, it highlights like what's your data looking like your customer
Mhm.
data looking like. You're
Yes.
probably gonna end up having CRM specific customers, just so that you could use it for a CRM centric purpose. But in an ideal world, all your contacts, I guess that's a relatively new feature in 9 or 10, and it's been latched on where there used to be com method. There's usually like that. Is that aligned? Are com method switchboards, or is your contacts in the com methods? I know you're
Yeah.
laughing now. We're getting really into specifics. Then that's not going to work, right? Then you have to align it. Are your representatives contacts? No, it has to be representatives. They're actual people.
Yeah.
Like
They've got a person record
the
within IFS.
representatives are actually in the customer orders. They're users of your system.
Yeah.
There's a lot of alignment to do, and it's um I think in my experience, it needs that person to explain that in
Mhm.
ERP implementation, because they're
Mhm.
usually not gonna make a it's not gonna stop an order from processing, it's not gonna stop an invoice from, but actually it depends on if you are if your KPIs are trained to go, okay, I need to be able to forecast this properly.
Mhm.
If have you aligned your business opportunities? Are you doing your probability forecasting on the headers or on the lines? In which case, obviously, you
Mhm.
correct that. I think I sent off a list, of recommendations I have to the management. But um, I think, like you said, there's a lot of things you could do with it because you can customize IFS really well, and with the AI
Yeah.
features, I'm
Yeah.
really like looking forward to seeing this, and I'll probably re-implement this in the company I'm on, because they have it, they're using it. So I'll wait for those updates eagerly. I'll probably get back to you. Um, but I think it's one of those things. It will do a lot of what your expensive, um, not even integration would. A lot of people are married to Salesforce, though. I would say, I mean, they either really really love it or they want to get rid of it. But yeah, it depends really, because I guess Salesforce is a lot more. It has a lot more offering if you really dove deep into it. But
Yeah.
it's like, how do you decouple like some of those things into your actual ERP,
Hmm.
and then you know, and where does reporting lie in between CRM? Because that
Yeah.
is usually like also comes as a package with the CRM, right? Like the reporting side of it. That's
Mm.
the most important thing for a salesperson. Like, what is my KPIs?
Yeah.
What are my contacts? What are my targets? So um it's part of that, being a CRM consultant, like knowing what those are. How do you deliver it? But actually, a lot of these things, like you said, they could be powered by built-in stuff. It's just
Mm.
how creative are you? So I'm looking forward. Like I said, just a light touch on the roadmap of it. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd probably say, the current state that it's in, we're maybe 85% of probably Salesforce is offering. But, it depends on what the priorities are for the business. Is it you want to have the absolute best CRM tool? So great, you can chat to your contacts. Or do you want to have that single point of truth which links into your entire ERP? So it's not only improving it for the sales function, but it's improving it for everyone across the enterprise, because you've got one customer record to be updating, and that's the same customer record that's accessed by finance, by sales, by management. It's all the same information that's then feeding into those different KPIs and reporting tools as well. So yeah, it just depends really on what the focus of the business is. I mean, we use our own CRM internally, and it works really well for us. I
Yeah,
think if you take it out of the box, it is probably 80% there, and maybe we need to do a bit of configuration to get it up to 95%. I mean, if I went and said we use ours out of the box, I'd be lying. We have custom stuff in there that we've built ourselves.
deal
We've
desk.
got direct links even into SharePoint, so we can track different metrics across a couple of different ways that we're using. So we're actively using the integration capabilities as well.
No, it's really interesting for me. Of course, I've been part of that project years ago, 6 years ago. So it doesn't probably looks nothing like it does now,
Yeah.
for IFS. But it'd be interesting for you guys to actually use some of these upcoming products if you are going to
Yeah.
integrate versions. Probably go through the same internal headaches that you would like with the testing, like a normal customer would, because it's like you use your own product, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
Copilot for customer evaluation, opportunity grouping. This is interesting. Okay, it's B2B. I don't know too much about that. Lead prediction. If you put your leads in properly with a conversion rate, I guess it is what you put in, right? You're gonna start getting some things out. Like, how good is your CRM right now?
Yeah.
It's gonna spit it out pretty quickly. Um,
I guess that lead prediction, that to me is similar to the business opportunity prediction score we have currently. So that's already in there, and that's looking at the existing opportunities. You've got the historic ones, and it will use that information to give you a scoring of how well it thinks you'll do as part of that tendering process. That lead prediction, then I think will be using a similar um, calculations or tools to give you a prediction there and how that's going to convert. Opportunity grouping recommendation. Let's see what that one says.
Says B2B.
Okay. Yeah, this actually comes up quite a lot with customers that I speak to, where maybe you've got two sales execs who are both working with the same customer, but on slightly different areas of their business.
Mm-hmm.
It may be that, there's a bit of crossover in the opportunity there. So
Mm-hmm. That could
again,
definitely happen. All you could do is not talk to the other person, really. Just be
yeah.
focused on what you're doing.
But
Yeah.
again, that will help with omitting any duplicate values in your forecasting. So again, you're not going to be overinflating the potential for the year.
Customer evaluation. Wow, wow. Wow. And then the sales managers could just blame AI and be like, hey, AI said this. Like,
AI said let them churn. No, we wouldn't want that.
No, no. But it's fun to poke fun
Oh,
at.
preventing churn. There we go. See?
Did you write this?
I did not. We're looking at this together for the first time.
Okay.
I'm just so close to the product,
Yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
dream about it.
Yeah. The actual vocabulary used day to day as well now. That's funny. Okay, this is only the 25 R1 version.
Hmm.
Um, OCR technology, photo.
Yeah.
So this we've been talking about this for a while, right?
Yeah,
Scanning.
so we've got OCR for customer order entry and also for expense management.
Right.
It's also possible for supplier invoicing through one of our partners. Pagero is usually one for supplier invoice
So
OCR scanning.
you've embedded that now, so you could just scan, because that would be really handy for expenses, 100%.
Yeah, it's really good actually. You can literally just take a picture of your receipt and the system will populate kind of the expense code, the value, so it identifies if it thinks it's a meal or a hotel or whatever. You obviously still have the opportunity to check it if you wish.
Hey, to me, that doesn't do bode well for people that barely use the system as it is, and they only use it for expenses. They're not even gonna look at the system now. They're just gonna take a picture. Okay, we'll let them off. Maybe they don't want to use IFS.
But yeah, it generates their expense lines. You still have to confirm it and things, but it'll also automatically upload the image that you take. So as part of our process, we have to upload the receipt as well. So it'll do that and it'll add the line and the value and everything for you. Then it's a quick cross check. Is that right? Has it chosen the right expense code? Yeah, great. Let's confirm. Then it goes through for authorization.
Interesting. Um, and then ah, okay. So 25 is a bit lighter. There's more in the other one. Next best action automation. Sales representatives sometimes struggle to prioritize their tasks as they often get tangled up in customer meetings and have to travel a lot. Hard to stay on top of all ongoing customer activities. Missing follow ups can lead to costly loss of opportunities. A next best action feature helps sales reps by prioritizing their work and alerting them to important customer developments. This ensures timely follow ups and opportunities and activities, improving overall sales performance and customer satisfaction. Wow, I mean, so this is gonna be churning out how good your activity data is then.
Yeah. Helping the teams be more proactive instead of reactive.
I guess anyway, a lot of the negativity that comes with the CRM is like, am I being watched? And um, but at the same time, if you do use it, if you use activities anyway,
Hmm.
um, I guess you don't even need. Would it use the categories? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I guess it's the first time you're seeing this as well.
Yeah, I mean, it might be that the priority is defined by the business, or I'm not sure
Mm.
without delving into that
No,
in a bit
no,
more
no. Without
detail.
diving into it, you can only imagine like some
Mm,
categories would have higher weighting and stuff like
yeah.
that. Wow. Next, they'll be selling things for us.
Well, we've got guided selling. That's one of the newer things that have come through. So to help the sales reps determine what the best product for the customers would be. And it can use imagery and things to give them a visualization.
Is that for product heavy sales rather?
Yeah, so the example that we were given is you're selling garage doors. So maybe there's a specific size. So you can put in the size that then filter down the possible products. Maybe they want an automatic garage door. So again, you can filter by that. So then it'll only display the products that match the customer's requirements. And then you can choose the appropriate one to
Mhm.
proceed with.
Lots of interesting stuff. I guess
That's already in there.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
in there
Like
already.
we've dove like a bit deep into that, Sarah. I mean, in fairness, though, in my opinion, the complete lack of enemy for companies that I've seen is just how much attention has been paid. I think like let's say a recruitment agency, CRM is crucial, like
Mhm.
right because it's contact heavy. But for let's say I don't know, I don't want to name an industry, but for
That's
someone,
probably more B2C though, anyway. I guess with IFS Cloud at the moment, we are more B2B focused. That
Mhm,
being said, we do have B2C capabilities,
mhm.
like the likes of RC, our customer engagement module. That is very much B2C focused because we've got omni-channel in there.
It's more features,
Um,
definitely more features there as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is your take then? What's your the closing? But to me, what it looks like on the coming updates and with the business opportunity grouping, as you said, was it business opportunity? What was it called? It's the business lead prediction, the
The
prediction.
lead prediction, yeah.
Yeah. So, but with the, I guess the opportunity prediction, I guess it's already out in 24
That's
hours.
in there, yeah.
I guess it is what you put in is what you're gonna get out.
Yeah. Your
So
system's only as good as the data you've got in
yeah,
it.
I would think so. So I think in any case, it might even be a good chance to revisit that. But all right, how are we gonna make use of AI now? Well, we're just gonna have to knuckle down on what we're gonna put in, and this is what we're gonna put in. So
Mhm,
it's folks discussion. I'm
mhm,
really keen on doing that, but again, it's a whole business drive. It's easier
mhm.
said than done, right? Because you have to
Yeah.
get everybody down and convince them, and be like just with anything in IFS. But um, yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you for sharing that. We almost we're out. We're not well. We're gonna if you're okay to overrun maybe 10 minutes or 10
Yeah,
15
it's fine.
minutes because I really want to like pick your brain about R&D.
Mhm.
Um, talk to me about just R&D in general. These are really juicy topics. I don't think the audience would mind. So talk to me about the lifeblood of this amazing product.
In R&D. So, yeah, I guess, we invest very heavily within our R&D department. I touched earlier, we obviously have IFS Labs, which is very much forward thinking, that they're kind of focusing years ahead. What's the functionality? What direction should we be going in? Um, as much as we'd love to invest in solving absolutely every little niggle that customers have, unfortunately, instead we actually focus down on more narrow areas. We do listen to customers. There's a number of different ways that we get feedback from customers, from our customer advisory boards, to different, user groups that we have as well, where we can get the feedback from the customers of what's working, what's not. That all gets fed back into R&D, and then it's prioritized and worked on accordingly. Obviously, more recently, AI has had the heavy focus and probably the biggest investment.
Mm.
Again, just yeah, focusing on kind of those hot topics of what's going on in the tech world.
Okay, so lots of different, like I said, like I remember like pre talking to you about this, but lots of ways. Like so, I guess user groups, the community
Yeah.
forum, uh,
Yeah, community's a big one.
yeah, absolutely, like things get worked on every day there, right? Um, guess pre-sales, you guys have a direct link with them for questions and
Yeah. I often get asked, kind of R&D will reach out and say, "Is there been any hot topics that have come up recently?" So, especially with the RFPs and RFIs that I'm responding to, if there's certain things that jump out at me, I will kind of take note of those and then can feed that back into R&D. Did so today, in fact. There's a specific use case which comes up time and time again, and I was like, you know what? I actually think Copilot could fix this or could solve this problem in the not too distant future.
I know you can't get into specifics, which is great because obviously we don't want to give all the secrets away. But I guess you are in the customers where it's still not using IFS, but they
Mhm.
are encountering problems, and you are in direct competition with providers that are using AI as well as their toolkit in order to win the business, obviously. But uh, is there anything jumping at? So okay, so Copilot, you said okay, that's
It was Copilot to use. So I'll say the specific use case that keeps coming up time and time again. It's more around contract management for suppliers.
Mhm,
And often, we've got full document management capabilities, full document lifecycle management. But at the moment, we don't have kind of the contextual search capability. And especially when it comes to contracts with suppliers or even with customers, where there's nuances in there where they deviate from the standard, it keeps coming up, how could we search across the supplier contract base to see which suppliers have this particular clause or have this particular agreement that or term in the agreement that we've agreed with them.
mhm,
Using Copilot, and by uploading customer documentation into the data lake, that could enable us to do that contextualized search. So you could say, bring back all the suppliers that have this specific agreement within their contract, and it could give you that list back. So it's things like that. So it's something that's not currently there, but that could be quite easily accessible in the not too distant future, depending on how R&D decide to build that out. I mean, it may be that they actually decide, you know what, we're going to do it within document management anyway.
mhm,
And it would be great to have it in Copilot. And then again, it's weighing up, if we decide to go down the Copilot route, what would the cost of that be in terms of token usage, not just for the customer, but for us, can we balance it that way? So there's a whole decision-making process that needs to be gone through. But yeah, that's one example that I think would be quite easily solved potentially.
mhm. Wow. Something is jumping out of me, and I just thought I'll throw my 2 cents in there. Is it'd be interesting if by using some of these AI features, you guys would have direct access. You guys have direct access to for support anyway for some of that's probably the primary channel. Like if you have an
Mhm.
issue, if you have a question, you go to community. If you have an issue, you go to the support. But I guess in also getting direct feedback from the customer and the usage, it'd be interesting to kind of see what kind of terms customers can sign to say, okay, you can monitor the usage, or is it gonna be shut off? I guess these are like complex conversations, but it'll only evolve the product. But I guess the quicker you can get that feedback through voting, almost for the next feature, it's almost like that. Like that'd be cool to see if there was like some sort of like consensus of the, I don't know, 300 cloud users in the latest version, um, and then the 30 that's using in this specific use case will have a voting power. Like much like
Mhm.
the tokens, we'll get tokens, but we also get voting power for a particular area.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to drive innovation, right?
Yeah.
To be able
I
to.
was I was having a similar conversation with R&D today, actually saying that kind of direct feedback from
Mhm,
maybe even the quality of responses we're getting from Copilot, like that would be brilliant. It's not something we can capture currently, but again, it's something that has been discussed, it has been highlighted. And as you say, the ability then to notice if there's a particular trend, maybe in responses in a certain area of the functionality. I mean, you
mhm.
can jump straight on that then and kind of improve it, rather than, maybe there's one area that's slightly weaker than another.
Yeah, I guess it's just like we're never been in the precipice of ERP systems are, yeah, as you know, like they're private databases.
Yeah.
Like they're not public. Most of them are not, like 100% of them are not publicly available data.
Mm.
But at the same time, you have that trust level with the ERP, and as long as all the dot you've signed all the dotted lines or whatever, it's just being able to directly impact um your particular area, and it'll be even more like of a competitive advantage that way. I think the quicker that gets to R&D from the users themselves,
Hmm.
without I'm not saying that it's not a great channel now. It's great that it's coming from the forum. It's great it's coming from support. It's great it's coming from you. It's great it's coming from everything else. But like, imagine the customer feels like, okay, we're getting sent a survey here, or we're getting sent a question, and we're getting a teaser for potential pathways for this next one. That's gonna be crazy. I mean, to me, like that, I would like, in a world. I'm not saying like this year or anything. I'm not saying next year or anything. I'm not putting that pressure on, but that level of like voting power,
Yeah.
personalized voting power based on the use case, would be nuts. That would just send.
Probably the quickest or closest way to do that at the moment, I would say, is through the IFS community.
Mhm,
Anyone can upload questions or suggestions on there, and there is the upvoting function.
mhm.
So, I mean, even internally, quite often someone will pop on and say, "I've just put this on. It's a really good idea. Go like it." And then we're like, "Go and give it some likes," because then it gets a more of an R&D focus. So, I mean, even encouraging more of your users onto the community, because again, the more people that are on there, the more knowledge we can build on there, the more interactions we can have. And also, it's a really good place to share experiences with other customers who may have had similar challenges that they've then overcome. Or, they can suggest how they've overcome them. Maybe it was a small like configuration that they've applied, or maybe it's that they just slightly tweak their process to align more with the standard, whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is there anything that you wanna say a bit more about this? I mean, like I said, I'd love to hear more about your thoughts on R&D, how it's how does like spill a little bit. I don't want the full secret, but like, is there anything that you think they do that you really admire and like stay ahead of things?
I think just the way that they can be so agile. I mean, the amount of new features and functions that have come out in IFS Cloud compared to Apps 10. I mean, we're talking like
Oh yeah.
tens of new features with every 6 months,
Hmm.
and they're on time. You know, they work well. There's bound to be the odd little teething issue, but generally, like the feedback we're getting is great. As soon as it's deployed, it's usable, and so yeah, I think just the speed and agility that the team are showing these days, and the commitment to kind of doing what they say they're going to do and setting out on the roadmap is really admirable.
Hmm. I always wondered because it's such a like the knowledge base that's been built up, over the years of
Mhm.
industry best practices, right? Uh,
Yeah.
it's that's an enormous treasure there, and how did they keep up with it now? It's just wow. I could only imagine. It'll be so
Mhm.
exciting, but probably also so frustrating in a way that you can't just give it all out, or or maybe they don't want to build everything that they are building right now. Maybe they're like, they have their own personal preferences, but
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe. I mean, we have industry directors. So in our 6 key industries, we have dedicated people who are actively going out and speaking to customers on a regular
Mhm.
basis. They're attending conferences, kind of they're at the forefront of the new technologies that are coming in each of their respective industries. And they have a direct channel into R&D as well. They run the customer advisory boards that we have. So again, getting direct feedback in that sense.
Mhm.
So again, once they've kind of collated what they see coming up in the future, they'll report on that. They'll also work directly with some of the industry analysts as well and explain like what we're aiming for, what we're working on currently. And again, yeah, it all gets fed back into R&D to be prioritized and then put into the product.
Mhm. It's amazing. So we're coming up to closing. I'm a bit sad actually because this is the part two. And I just felt like we just talked about work. We've not actually had a proper
We did
catch
the
up.
personal bit last
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
time.
That's it. All right, all right.
Yeah. Should have
The
done it the other way around, work
yeah,
then play.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we literally just did a play and then the work stream. But
Yeah.
actually, I just wanted to say, like, this doesn't have to be the end. Like I said, I am just doing this as a side gig, for me to be able to connect with, especially like for yourself. This is invaluable for me, my
Mhm.
company, and everybody watching. And also get like the juicy tidbits behind the scenes, like that is like the juicy stuff we want. And also got informed today, so I don't want to say this is the last time, but I would definitely, whenever you're comfortable in saying, all right, I've got a bunch of things to talk about, I really honestly, like, this is probably as much as your channel, to be able to do that. So no, thank you so much. I know you also wanted to touch upon um another topic. Either I leave you to, if you want to close out on that, or do you want to do it in the next one, if you wanted to. It's up to you. Do you have any thoughts?
I think I think the topics we've covered today kind of fit nicely in their own little segment, but
Mhm.
I would be delighted to come back on again in the future. I've really, really enjoyed it. So
No, I
anytime.
know it's been a blast, right? It's been really fast. It's gone really quickly. So,
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, thank you so much for the insights today. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you guys are cooking. And best of luck to everything. More power. So,
Thank you.
thank you. Speak soon.